Okay. All right, guys. So today we'll be covering the contract to lease. So you have a client now. They want, and you show them properties, whether you got them on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. Now they want to go ahead and put in an offer. So you're wondering, well, okay, what is it that I do now? So you're gonna fill out a contract to lease. So a contract to lease is like a letter of intent for commercial. So you're gonna go ahead and find the contract to lease. You pull up on your transaction desk or Form Simplicity, whatever is it that you use, and getting ready to fill this thing up. Okay. So first, you want to go to your listing that you have. You're gonna pull up that listing. You're gonna click this little icon right here, and that little icon right here is gonna go ahead and take you to IMAP. Once it directs you to IMAP, now you have the information on the owner, who the name of the owner is, the property itself, the address, all of that stuff, and any little details that you need to know on the tax record of the property. So now you pull up your contract to lease, and you're gonna start filling things out. So right here initially, let me go ahead and minimize the screen so I can be able to see you guys. Minimize this right here. So right here, where it says landlord info, you're gonna go back, and it says, where you see where it says current owner. Since there's two people, we're gonna go ahead and copy them both. Hold on, second crazy. Copy, and I'm just gonna paste it right here. Paste. Boom, we got one, and I'll put and let me grab the other one. Copy, paste, boom, two owners. So right here, for the tenant info, now you're about to submit their offer, you should already have their pay stubs, their information, all of that stuff, their ID. So on the tenant's ID, that's where you're gonna get their name. Of course, you're gonna know their name as well. So for tonight, we're going to use LeBron James, right? That's our tenant. Our tenant is LeBron James. So now we're gonna go ahead and execute the find out how long we want to wait to execute. So this spot right here is pretty much the time frame that you're giving the agent to review your offer. I usually give them 3 days. So today's 22nd, 1, 2, 3. By the 25th, I want to make sure I hear back. But you got to give them a deadline, because if you don't give them a deadline, they take forever. And you want to make sure, if you have to put in an offer for your clients somewhere else, you have that ability to, and not wasting your time. So down here, we're gonna click that the landlord will prepare the lease, not the tenant, but the landlord. So you click make sure the landlord. And right here, we're about the deposit section, number 2. So whenever you're submitting something, you want to make sure you collect a deposit from your tenant. So we're going back to right here. The monthly rental is $2,000 a month, right? So we want to make sure we collect that first initial deposit of $2,000. And what we're gonna do with that $2,000, we're gonna deposit into a title company. So right here, we're gonna put New World Title. So you're gonna make sure you get that, whether they can wire to New World Title, you ask New World for the wire information to send to your client, or you can get the client to drop off a check to New World, or money order that you drop off to New World. But you want to make sure you have that initial deposit. That is very, very important. You never want to go throughout and have your client sign a lease and everything and not have the deposit, because if they back out, you're screwed. That's on you. So you want to have that deposit, and also that's where you're going to get paid from. So now moving on, section 3, property address. So with the property address, all we usually do is come right here, copy, and then boom, paste. So we got our property address right here. All this, guys, is very, very simple. As you can see, property address. And then right here, we're gonna figure out, is the property furnished or not? So all the information, if the listing agent updated, you see right here, this section right here, it says unfurnished. So we're gonna go back to this, and we know the property is, let me move this over, it's unfurnished. Boom. And then the property will be used by for residential purposes and occupied by tenant in the following If they have anybody that's, like kids or whatnot, you put them, right here. So let's put LeBron Jr., he's under 18. We're gonna put him right here. He's gonna be living in the house. Okay, so now the lease terms. This is when the lease begins. So let's say the lease starts on, we're in November, right? Let's say we're starting on December 1st, and then the ending date. So the lease, when it ends, it always ends a day before. So if the lease starts on December 1st, we're gonna finish on November, hold on. We're gonna finish on November 30th of 2022. You got that? Does that make sense? So the lease is gonna end like a day before on the next year. So we start on December 1st and we're gonna end on November 30th of 2022. Okay, print day, awesome. So part 5. So this is the money that's due before the tenant moves in. So right here, this is where the last security is gonna play a role. And once you fill in these sections right here, it's gonna auto-populate the amount to move in. So we know we got the first month's rent, and it's $2,000. Oh, sorry, I put it in the wrong section. So it's $2,000. And the first month's rent, and I usually make sure it's due upon acceptance right here. So the reason why I do that is, I want to make sure that, my client is getting accepted. So I usually put upon acceptance. When my client gets accepted, we're going to put that money in there. And that's the money you're going to have in the title company. And then you have your last month's rent right here, which is going to be another $2,000. And then that last month's rent, yes, continue. Don't log me out. What's wrong with Form Simplicity trying to log me out? Last month's rent, I usually put in on the move-in date, or you can type in walkthrough. So this is the date that they're gonna be moving in. Like, so on that day, they're gonna bring a check. I mean, not a check. They're gonna bring a money order with the landlord's, info on there, so that way they can pay to the landlord. So those last 2 deposits, they're gonna bring on the move-in date, the walkthrough date, so you don't have to worry about that. So it's your job to inform them, to let them know the total amount that they have to bring in the move-in date. So I'll leave it like that. As you see right here, it automatically filled in the total moving cost. So first, last security, total moving cost is $6,000. You see that? Okay. So we know that right here, the money that's in the title right here, you're gonna put the first month's rent, the money that goes to first month. So we put $2,000 right here. And then the rest, since they're bringing in, when they're moving in, we leave it blank. Okay. Or if you collected all 3 months rent up front, you're gonna fill in these right here. You're gonna put the last month, the security deposit. Pretty simple. So now let's move on. Section 6, rent payment, taxes, and charges. Tenant will pay total rent of lease term in the amount of, so right here, guys, all you're doing is, so you're doing 2,000 times 12, that's $24,000. And that's the total amount that they will be paying for the entire lease term. Tenant will also pay taxes on the rent. So, usually on a year term lease, they don't pay any taxes unless they're doing like a vacational rental or anything. I believe that's less than 6 months. If they have taxes, then you put it right here. But usually a year lease doesn't have any taxes. Down here, tenant will pay rent, including taxes, following. Okay, so if they're paying in full, you're gonna put the date that they're gonna be paying in full, and then the amount, the total amount, which is gonna be like the year's term. And kid you not, guys, there's people out there that will pay in full. I had a client recently that we paid the entire lease up in full. So since we're not paying in full, we're clicking monthly, and we're paying on the first of every single month in the amount of $2,000. And I know some people usually have some questions on this part, saying, okay, what if they're moving in on the 15, 14, whatever? So whatever date that they're moving on, I usually just keep it on that day, and let's say they're moving on the 15th. they will start paying their rent on the 15th, or usually the day is actually prorated and move back to the first. Either or. If you don't prorate it, and it's good. You make more money on your commission. So I leave it right there. So smoking and pets. So you want to go down right here. That's how you're gonna find out the information. So right here, pets, no pets. They don't want any pets. So prohibited. Smoking, I would ask and find out. But if they're not smokers, you want to put pretty simple. So moving on. Now we're down to the utilities part. Tenant will pay for all utility service during the lease term. Connection charge and deposit for activating existing utility connections to the property, except for boom. So right here, this is what you put what's included in the rent. So how do you find that out? So usually we can look at the description to see what's included. If they put it in here, if it's not in here, let's see. Clubhouse, grill, building, marble floors, okay, so down here, this section, right? This is where it usually is. And guys, don't worry, because sometimes the agents don't fill in all the information when it comes down to these listings. And the only thing you have to do is ask them. So in that situation, I will call the listing agent and ask, hey, what's included in the rent? Is water included? Is trash, sewer, cable, Wi-Fi? So you want to find out. You don't just want to assume, because there's some places you would think that every association that water is included. There's some buildings that don't include water. The tenant have to pay it. So you don't want to make that mistake where you told your tenant, yeah, water is included, and you find out water is not included, and they're upset at you. So you always want to find out what's included and what's not included. So for this example, let's put water is included. Water. A lot of people think they pay the HOH fee. They don't pay the HOH fee. The HOA is paid by the landlord. So you can include HOA on there if you like, but usually trash, water, sometimes cable, internet, whatever's included. So this is where you put it. And then right here, maintenance. Landlord will be responsible for maintenance and repairs of property except for, and this is where you put the thing about any repairs under, depending is apartment, whatever, 150. Sorry, 150, under 150. So anything that costs more than 150, the landlord will take care of. Anything less than 150 will be the tenants will have to take care of that. So usually negotiable. Usually sometime on the lease they'll change it, whatever. But let's just put 150 for now. And then association approval. So most condos, most places, if it's definitely a condo, townhouse, they have associations. And when you're going through these association process, it takes a time. And then also you have to fill out an association application for approval. So you want to make sure you're right here, the lease term, depending upon the homeowner association approval, tenant will pay a non-refundable application fee. And if you want to know what the application fee is, you come right here, app fee, you see, $100. So now we know the app fee will be $100. Boom. And then they will make sure that they get the application in by 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, like 5 days. As soon as possible is better. So this is what this part means right here. Cool? Awesome. So moving forward, additional terms. So in the additional terms, this is where you're gonna put anything like, let's say, the landlord, you seen something that was wrong with the house, like the door needed to be, or a window, will repair window, back window or something like that. Like it needs to be paint, or landlord before moving. So like this is where you put something. Sometimes you walk into a property, not every property is perfect. Let's say there's little minor touches and stuff, or broken, something serious that the tenant doesn't like and the tenant would like the landlord to take care of. You're gonna put it in that section, so that way you let the landlord know you spoke to him, and then also that you put it right here. This is a request that the tenant has for the landlord to get done before they move in the property, to go ahead and take care of that. And then section 13 This is background credit and reference check. This is just basically letting you know that background check, credit check is going to be run. And if the tenants don't get approved, that the landlord may cancel the contract, and the tenant will get the deposit back. So, it's very important that you guys also pre-qualify your clients up front. I make my clients do the rent spree application, so that way at least I know what their credit score is and I'm not wasting nobody's time. If an association or if a listing on the market says, hey, the 650 credit score is required, that at least I know, okay, I did their rent spree, I know what their credit score is. They either have a 650 or don't, and I know they will qualify or won't qualify, and I'm not wasting your time. So number 14 right here with the service members. So if your client is actually, in the military, of what source or not, you want to go ahead and click yes, because that if they have to move, if they're called to duty or whatnot, there is programs that would take care of their rent and help them out. So you want to make sure you click this right here because they do have special rights. Failure to perform. So this section right here is just basically letting you know if for any or whatever reason after this is executed, especially the lease, that your tenants, if they fail to perform, if they want to back out, they don't like the property anymore, if they want to go ahead and pick another property. You know how clients are. Some clients are crazy. And they just 1 minute, oh, their auntie doesn't like the property anymore and they just want to back out. They will lose their deposit. They will forfeit the deposit. So that's why you always want to collect a deposit, because deposit motivate them. Quick story for you guys. Jada and I just had a transaction like that, where the client seen the property, they liked it, they submit the contract and everything, they're ready to move in, and then their mom went and seen the property, and the mom's like, oh, I don't like the property, such and such, blah, blah, blah. And then now the tenant has second thoughts. Oh, no, like I don't want it anymore. I want to back out. They did their application approval and all with the HOA. The HOA called them for the interview and they told the HOA, hey, we don't like it because blah, 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 their mom, such and such, and they wanted to back out. And we're like, bro, we told you, like, if you, for whatever reason, you decide to back out, now you're losing your deposit. And long story short, they talked to the listing agent as well too. Listing agent was like, hey, I'm sorry, you can back out, but you're not getting your deposit back. And it is what it is. So they decided that, hey, you know what? No, never mind. We can't afford to lose, that entire deposit. And they stayed. So that can be a great motivational tool for your clients. Because think about it the other way. If there was no deposit in escrow, what they would have done? They would have been, see you later, homie. See you later, alligator. They're out. They're dipping. You would have never heard from them. They probably would have been in Mexico by the time we called them again. So hold that deposit. So right here, in this section, this is where you're going to put your information. So, I'm right here, I'm representing the tenant, and then Victoria, what agency she's in? She's with London Foster. For some reason, anytime I think about London Foster, I think about Frosted Flakes. Am I the only one? Weird, right? I know, guys. So this is where you're gonna put the other agent's information right here, okay? And then the rest of it, honestly, guys, it's common sense. The tenant's name goes right here. You don't want to put the tenant's address. You don't have to put their prior address or their email and information. Well, you can put their email. I wouldn't put their phone number. You don't want nobody stealing your client or calling your client. And then the landlord goes right here. And then also going back up, just showing you guys, you're going to initial all right here for your tenant, landlord initials right here on every single page of this. Cheerios. Okay, guys, that's pretty much the contract to lease. I did it faster than I thought I would go through it. So any question?
Yes, Omi, this is Alma. How are you?
I'm doing good, Rama. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Listen, I have a contract that actually is gonna get signed by my clients. I send the offer, they accepted my offer. They said, we're not gonna send you the offer back. We're just gonna send you the lease agreement already all done. So do I get the deposit now from my clients? Or
Yes. Yes, no, don't wait. I would never
Right.
I would never have the client sign the lease until I get that deposit, because the moment they sign that lease, it's a binding contract, even the contract to lease as well too. If they sign the
Yeah.
contract to lease, they want to back out, they can still lose their deposit, but the lease is like, is a lot bigger. And then once
Yeah.
they sign that lease, it's like, they're committed to it. They have to, they're in breach of agreement. They want to back out for whatever reason. And right now you have nothing really holding them to it. So if they decide to sign that lease with you and they, for whatever reason, they say, hey, I'm out, or they go ghost on you, like, you're done. Now you're in trouble. That commission's either gonna come out of, from you. And I'm sure you don't have an extra deposit laying around. You just wanna, give away to some other realtor or
Not
landlord.
at all. Not
Yeah.
at all.
So let the client know that they're getting approved, and that you need that deposit before anything else, and get that right away. Like May said today, like, if you need to meet them and get the money order from them and you're depositing to New World for them, go ahead and do that. But do not go any further without getting that deposit, because you don't want to put yourself in trouble.
Okay, so, but I don't
And you,
wait until the landlord signs it. I get the deposit and then I send it to be signed by the actual landlord.
yeah. So they said they're gonna send you a lease. So pretty much nobody's gonna send you a lease without accepting your clients.
Exactly.
So yeah, so if they're gonna send you the lease, I think usually sometimes they make the landlord sign first and they send it to you, or they send the lease to you first and have your client sign it, then they send it back to the landlord to sign. But still, get that deposit in. If they mention lease, that means you're good to go. They got accepted. Now your client's about to get accepted. Go get that deposit. And also as well too, you actually need the contract to lease as well, because in order for you to get paid by Roberto and uploading into a transaction desk, they're gonna require you to have that contract to lease. Speaking of Roberto,
Tell Alma that her lease agreement looks good.
he said your lease
It looks
agreement.
good.
You're doing a good job.
Okay, cool. So I will send it to them and I'm gonna tell them, because they were gonna give me a cashier's check, but today is too late.
Wake up bright and early, 5 a.m., knock on that door. Hey, where's that check? Run me that check.
Well, New World said they don't take personal checks though, right?
Like, you can do money order. I believe I don't know if they take personal checks. I know they take money orders for sure.
No, money orders and cash
Money
and
orders.
cashier checks.
Money
I
are
always,
so,
I always have them wire it, but so I think they do. They may
yeah,
say,
I already mentioned it to them and they were kind of like, wiring. I don't even know what that is.
oh, okay, good. That
We're
means
gonna
go
have
get,
maybe money orders.
yeah, go get that. Go get that.
And I can deposit it myself to the bank?
You would give it to New World.
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see?
New World. Smart agents.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? Great question, by the way, Alma. I'm guessing I'm in the room with a bunch of agents. I know this already, but still they decided to come on the training.
If you have counter offers, let's say if they want to offer it an additional month or they want to offer more monthly, do you just put that on the offer or do you put it in additional terms? Like, how would you do that?
I put it on the offer. It's a lot easier. Yeah.
So instead of like, let's say it's the 2,000, but they're willing to pay 2,200 instead, then you would just do the 2,200 offer?
Yep. Exactly. Just like on a sale. You just put it up right away. That's
Okay,
really good.
perfect.
Yeah. In this market, if your clients can offer an extra, $25 above, that's great. It looks good. It shows them that they're serious. They want the place, and it looks good, especially in an aggressive market like this. So that was a great question too. Yeah, you just put it on there.
Another question. Do you think it's more attractive to do additional month or more monthly, or it really just depends on the landlord?
It depends. Yeah, it depends on the landlord, and it depends on the client and their situation as well too. If they have a really good credit score, I usually I would just bump the rent up, because I know that they're qualified. Like, let's say their credit sucks, or not sucks, but like kind of low, just to make the landlord feel more secure. I would offer that extra deposit. At least they know they have that. But it's up to the landlord. You can give them the option. You can call and ask the agent, hey, look, which one would be a better option? My client is this is the situation. And then they usually would kind of like guide you on which direction to go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Or if you could do both, you'll
Hey.
start. All righty, good question. Anyone else? We have lots of time for questions, actually. I went through this really, really quick. Hopefully I didn't go too fast. Did I go too fast?
I think if no one has questions, it's because they understood.
Oh, see, that's a great way to look at it.
Only one more question. The check should be payable to New World Title. Yeah, title. Okay.
Yes, yes, new world title.
I don't have any questions because I missed the first half of the class.
Dang, you came in early.
Yes. I came in late.
All right. I don't think I'm gonna start all the way from the beginning again. You can catch
No,
the
no,
replay.
no, it's okay. I'll catch a replay.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you'll catch the replay. But any questions that you have in regards to contract to lease at all as well?
I wanna emphasize something real quick on a deposit, line 2. If we do use any title company, New World, whoever you're gonna end up using, and it's on the contract to lease, we're going to need an escrow letter to match this contract to lease. If for whatever reason we switch over and you don't end up using a title company, or you held the deposit for a day or two because it was a quick turnaround, you need to update this contract to lease to show that no party was used for the deposit, or it was given to the landlord directly. So
Yes,
something to keep in mind.
that escrow letter. Yep.
Good to know.
That's the point. The moment you drop that check on, in a couple of hours or probably the next day, they'll send you the escrow letter. You need that for the commissioner's references in order for you to get paid and to show your client has money in escrow. Thank you, sir. We're good, guys? And if we're good, we're done early, everybody gets this, we can go ahead and end this. May, thank you for switching your name to your real name. You're no longer iPhone Max Pro. Roberto,
I figured it out.
thanks for having you on, and everybody else.
Thank you. No,
So,
thank
guys,
you.
I hope you guys have an amazing night. Thank you so much for dropping by and catching this quick contract class, and I'll see you on the next class, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
night.
Bye,
See you
guys.
tomorrow.
Thank you, Omi, so much.
You're welcome.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye.